So, 3 weeks ago, Flight 3 for Reach on PC began, and as we all know, Reach is looking and feeling better on PC than it ever has before. Several thousands of people have been thoroughly enjoying this flight over the past few weeks, and it's easy to see why. Reach on PC really does satisfy that itch for a new Halo experience, quote unquote, Halo fans have been wanting since Halo 5. It feels fresh and satisfying to play, but that doesn't mean that the game doesn't have its issues. Something that I didn't know when I started making my review is that Reach was announced to be released on December 3rd, and despite my excitement to finally be able to pre-order the game on Steam, this release date does slightly worry me. So without further ado, here's my review of the final Halo Reach flight on PC, and what we could potentially expect to see when the game finally releases on Xbox One and PC December 3rd. Overall, the gameplay loop of Halo Reach on PC feels nearly identical to its original 360 counterpart, which is great since I loved Halo Reach's multiplayer. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the best multiplayer in all the Halo series, cough cough armor lock, but it still holds up as a solid and fun experience. From what I've played, weapons, armor abilities, and vehicles all function identically to original Reach, which is nice, unlike the other Halo games that report to MCC and also PC, such as Halo CE, how the Magnum did not feel like the original CE Magnum on Xbox, and the Carbine on Halo 2 didn't feel like its original counterpart. However, the 4.3 did make some good, intentional changes between the original Reach and MCC Reach. Motion blur is gone, which makes the game all the more crisper and easier to play, and bloom has been slightly reduced, making precision weapons slightly more easy to use and reliable. They also managed to get variable frame rates working and increase the max FOV to 120, and thank God I can actually see now. But even with the improvements, the same problems that turned many people away from the original Xbox 360 version of Reach are still very much apparent. While bloom is reduced, it is still very infuriating and annoying, and of course, armor abilities are also still very annoying. I absolutely hate it when I get someone's shields all the way down, need one more shot to kill, and they use armor lock, pausing the flow of gameplay or giving their teammate enough time to finish me off. I could go on for a long while about Reach's original issues, but there is one very major issue that significantly worries me about Reach's release only 2 weeks after this flight concludes, and that problem is mouse input delay. Everyone who has played Reach with a mouse and keyboard on PC has noted how weird the mouse feels when aiming. And that's kind of a major problem, as when you're releasing an FPS game on PC, aiming with the mouse is supposed to make you way more accurate than with using a controller. But instead, the input delay has left mouse and keyboard players at a severe disadvantage when playing against controller players. This has led almost everyone involved with Flight 3 to use controller, including people like myself who indefinitely prefer mouse and keyboard. It's hard to explain what this input delay feels like in words, so here's a short video. This is the problem that worries me the most about Reach being released on December 3rd, as if mouse and keyboard doesn't feel right on this game, it's gonna turn away a lot of PC gamers, especially like non-Halo fans who aren't really that into Halo and would not want to use a controller in order to play the game properly. Granted, they did release a patch mid-flight that somewhat reduces the input delay, but it's still very prevalent and it's still a huge concern of mine. Something that many Halo fans, including myself, are looking forward to when Reach releases on PC is the fact that it will offer full Spartan customization, unlocks, and a ranking system. Before they removed the ranking system from the flight, I was able to test it out for about 2 weeks, and I have to say, I really enjoyed it. Having the ability to now rank up in MCC and unlock armor pieces really gave me a whole new incentive to play the game. I was hooked. constantly wanting to level up, increase my rank, and gain rewards. If you're wondering, the way the system works is that after you hit a certain XP milestone, you rank up and earn 1 season point, which you are then able to spend on new armor, armor effects, firefight voices, and elite armor. I imagine that they did this way since they will have multiple seasons and you will be able to spend your season points on any of the seasons of which you choose. At the beginning of the flight, XP was given out in very small amounts, making ranking up very difficult, and it took me about 20 hours just to get to tier 10, and that was with me getting at least 15 plus kills per match. But then, when they announced that the flight would be extended the first time, they buffed the XP you got per match, making ranking up way more fair and balanced. After the XP buff, I got about 30 or more hours or so in, and I was able to rank up to tier 35 before they removed progression from the flight. Overall, I can't wait to continue grinding this new MCC progression system whenever it comes out, and it was definitely one of the highlights of the flight to me. Lastly, I just wanted to briefly discuss how amazing Reach looks on PC. You really see how much this game was held back by the 360's low-grade hardware. The textures and visuals look stunning in 4K with enhanced fidelity. The anti-aliasing really makes the game look clean, and that sweet uncapped FPS makes the game look so smooth. People be like, I love playing Reach in 4K 60, and I'm over here like, heh, more like 4K 260. If you're wondering, I have a GTX 1660 Ti, a Ryzen 5 2600 CPU, and 16 gigs of RAM. But my friend has a GTX 750 Ti, a Ryzen 1200 CPU, and 8 gigs of RAM, and he can still run the game at around 100 FPS at 1080p in max settings. So it's safe to say that if you have a PC from around the late 2000s or early 2010s, you can probably play MCC on PC just fine, just depending on your PC specs, of course. D43 did release the minimum specs required for this game, so just check on Steam before you pre-order the game. All in all, I've really enjoyed this last Halo Reach flight. There are definitely a lot of improvements over the original version of Halo Reach. PC is hands down the best place to play Reach, but we do have to keep in mind that the main issues people have with Reach are still very prevalent, and that mouse and keyboard is practically unusable in its current state, which really worries me about Reach being released in just a little over 2 weeks. Hopefully, with a lot of hours and plenty of pizza, 343 can fix the mouse input issues and deliver Reach on December 3rd on PC in the best state it could possibly be. But for now, my rating of Halo Reach on PC would have to be a solid 7 out of 10. Hopefully, if they can fix the mouse input issues, that score could potentially go up. But as I've said, even though it's improved, it's still Reach and carries with it all of Reach's problems. So if you're one of the people that didn't like Reach back in 2010, you're sure as hell not going to like it anymore now. Me, however, well, I love Reach, and I can't wait for its arrival on MCC for Xbox One and PC December 3rd.